The Aquachanger 240 from LEPA is designed to complement your CPU overclocks with superior thermal dissipation and performance. Dual convex blades on the 120mm fans deliver high-volume airflow at low noise, and the protrusive copper plate deploys more coolant for efficient CPU hotspot elimination. Click the link in the description to find out more. What's up guys? So as most of you know, I don't typically feature smartphones on the channel, and this is mainly because I'm personally not a big phone enthusiast to begin with, and even if I was, I don't really have many connections with manufacturers in that arena, which makes review samples harder to come by. But since I recently picked up my new Samsung Galaxy S6 for personal use, I took it as an opportunity to step out of my comfort zone and try something new. So here is my first ever smartphone review of the Samsung Galaxy S6. Starting off with the exterior, Samsung brings an attractive unibody design to their new flagship model, making it slimmer than previous iterations at just 6.8mm thin. However, for every action is a reaction, and the trade-off here is the omission of a removable battery or support for a micro SD card, so you're pretty much stuck with the device's internal storage, offered in 32, 64, or 128GB varieties. The entire front and back of the S6 is lined with a tough layer of Gorilla Glass 4, which provides scratch and fall resistance while offering up what I can only assume is next-generation theft protection via gratuitous fingerprint tracking. All around the edges we get a chamfered piece of metal that conspicuously lends the appearance of the iPhone 6. I've found that the easiest way to tell them apart is by their distinctive home buttons. A smart button layout aids the user experience of the S6, with the power button on the right being well within reach of your thumb or index finger, depending on which hand you're holding it with, and volume up and down buttons on the top left, all of which feel very high quality with their clicky and tactile responsiveness. On the bottom is a 3.5mm jack, micro USB port for charging and data transfer, and a speaker that gets plenty loud at max volume without too much distortion. Though it's not a front-facing design, having the speaker pointed at the natural cup of your hand actually helps project the sound quite nicely. Now, coming from a Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini, this is a much larger phone than what I'm used to, but the S6 still manages to feel great in the hand thanks to its rounded edges and solid weight just south of 5 ounces. At the same time, the super thin profile and glass backing makes this one of the more slippery phones I've almost dropped 5 times. Needless to say, sleeving it into a trusted case with a bit more grip instilled some confidence when handling the phone. On the back is a 16-megapixel camera that extends a few millimeters from the body, leaving it slightly vulnerable to damage, so be sure to use caution when placing the S6 down on a hard surface. Just to the right of the camera is your LED flash and a heart rate sensor to patronize the deceased. It also acts as a shutter button for taking selfies with the front-facing camera, further propagating the social trend of self-sustaining narcissism. On the front, you get a 5-megapixel camera up top, a seemingly durable home button, and your capacitive multitask and back buttons, which light up white for a second or two when pressed. The home button can do cool things, like open your camera from the lock screen with a double tap, or unlock your phone with fingerprint recognition. But the main event here on the outside of this device is by far and away the 5.1-inch 2560 by 1440 Super AMOLED display. At 577 pixels per inch, this screen takes the crown for highest pixel density currently on the market, allowing for crystal clear video playback, stunning mobile graphics, and super sharp text with no visible signs of aliasing. Color reproduction is top of its class with vibrant hues that pop and deep blacks that stay rich in low light. Since Super AMOLED displays are engineered to better reflect light than their LCD counterparts, users will also benefit from great visibility outdoors, even in direct sunlight. While I could continue raving about the eye-googling display, there's an equal amount to be said about what's under the hood. Running the IOPS show is the Exynos 7420 octa-core processor at 2.1 GHz, alongside 3 GB of RAM and a Mali T760 GPU. Together, this trifecta of hardware makes for the most fluid user experience I've seen on a smartphone yet. Application load times are remarkably fast, including the camera and gallery apps, which were previously known to cause hangups. Zooming and scrolling operates without a hitch, and just the overall speed of this device really allows you to be immersed in whatever it is you're doing. Even after scouring the UI for 5 straight minutes with the intent of finding a chink in the armor, I finally gave up trying to induce a noticeable stutter or slowdown. Speaking of the UI, baked into the latest version of Android Lollipop aboard the phone is the latest rendition of TouchWiz, this time with far less bloatware than we saw on the S5. While this attributes to smoother and faster performance all around, aesthetically the app icons look pretty basic and flat out boring. Then again, there's nothing stopping us from giving the launcher a complete makeover by quickly applying one of the many themes found in the Play Store. After adding some personality to your device, you can change up the screen's grid dimensions to better organize your app icons into your preferred number of columns and rows. If ever you should need to do two things at once, like watch a cat video while creating your own meme, first off, congratulations, you win the internet. But users with such tendencies will find expedited productivity, or lack thereof, with the multitasking ability carried over from the Galaxy Note. The stock keyboard looks clean enough, with a decent layout and passable autocorrect, though I'd still recommend most Android users head directly to the Play Store and install SwiftKey, or something equivalent for a vastly superior touch typing experience. Another buzzworthy feature being heavily pushed by the manufacturer is Samsung Pay. Launching later this year, the mobile payment service allows you to conveniently make in-store purchases with your phone. Though such services are the frequent topic of controversy these days in regards to their security and reliability, this is one area I haven't experimented enough with to give my proper take on. Circling back to the rear-facing camera, the 16-megapixel sensor sports an f1.9 aperture and 28mm focal length, resulting in crisp, high-quality images. An exception here is photos taken in low-light environments, where graininess runs rampant, particularly when upping the ISO. Apart from that, the colors look magical, and being able to achieve a nice bokeh will save you tons of time in Instagram. The camera is also incredibly responsive, with photos being snapped just milliseconds after pressing the on-screen shutter button. You can also use the physical volume buttons to snap photos as well. Among the various shooting modes, there's a Pro option for photography enthusiasts with adjustable settings like ISO, white balance, and manual focus. As expected, you can also tap to focus on a subject, but I can already foresee all the little extra settings that pop up in Pro mode potentially getting in the way. If you're more of an auto user, you'll be happy to know that the autofocus on the Galaxy S6 is faster and more accurate than it's ever been, letting you quickly point and shoot with little effort. In addition to still photos, you also get optical image stabilization when shooting 1080 video at 30 frames per second, though the feature becomes disabled when jumping up to anything higher, including 4K at 30 frames per second. The video quality here is superb, not only in terms of sharpness, but accurate color representation and even lighting. Nothing looks blown out, and image stabilization performs its job well. All in all, what we have here is a simple yet robust app with a powerful camera to boot that's arguably the best we've seen from Android or Apple thus far. And finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The non-removable battery, which has been cut down from previous generations, is now just 2550 milliamps. I can't say I'm impressed by the battery life of the S6, nor am I outright disappointed by it. Since I'm not really a power Android user, I can typically go all day and still have about 20% battery life by the time I roll into bed. However, I know many folks use their smartphones substantially more than I do, and as a result, they'll probably have to rely on the phone's smart charging abilities to get through their day. With the Galaxy S6's fast charge support, users can expect to see 2 hours of HD video playback with just a 10-minute charge, and 0 to 50% battery life in just half an hour. A great solution for those on the go. Wireless charging is exactly what it sounds like. Get a wireless compatible charger and juice up your phone simply by placing it on the platform without having to plug in any cables. Not only is this incredibly convenient, but having a few of these placed throughout the house is sure to keep the S6 alive at home for even the most aggressive users. If I'm speaking honestly here, both of these charging solutions seem less like next-gen features and more like workarounds for the phone's stunted battery life. But I suppose this is one of the big compromises Samsung had to make in order to get the phone as slim and sexy as it is. Whether or not this was a smart trade-off will largely depend on the specific needs of the user. And I think that is all I have to say about the Samsung Galaxy S6. And there's really a lot of information here, so just to quickly sum up, this is the fastest phone I've ever come across. Watching it zip along to anything I throw at it is truly a testament to the matured internal hardware, which creates a fluid user experience on the brilliant Quad HD display. Samsung's Super AMOLED technology delivers razor-sharp text and breathtaking visuals that keep your eyes fixated, something I never thought I'd say about a screen just north of 5 inches. New revisions to the UI make it faster and functionally adept, with plenty of top-tier features that make the S6 feel like a high-end product. The camera is awesome for stills and video, with plenty of settings for fine-grained tunability, though image quality in low light could see some improvement. However, this is a seemingly small critique compared to the questionable battery life. While the daily lifespan will suffice for most, it's a potential deal breaker for power users opposed to utilizing the phone's various charging abilities as a crutch. These are likely to be the same folks who struggle with the non-removable battery and the absence of any expandable storage. Now, be that as it may, this phone really pushes the limits of today's mobile technology, and having been able to personally look past all of its little quirks and shortcomings, I'm really looking forward to using it for the next couple of years. If you're in the market for a considerable upgrade, I'd give the S6 my recommendation in a heartbeat. But that is going to do it for now, guys. Before you go, toss me a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of this phone in the comments. Also, tell me how you think I did on my first phone review on a scale of awesome sauce to never do that again. Did I mention I added a new shirt to the store? Yeah, there's a new shirt in the store. It's pretty cool. You should buy one. I'm Kyle with Awesome Sauce Network. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all in the next video.